Well, Wooly here. I have rope. I am talking about tarpology. I am talking about tarps. Guys, these are my top knots, right, for putting up tarps. Stay tuned. Yes, guys, putting up tarps. Tarpology, putting up tarps, guys. Definitely one of my favorite all-time subjects. I should have organized this a wee bit better. Okay, so guys, you're going to put up a tarp. You've never really put one up before. I've put up thousands of tarps, right? I'm going to say thousands. I've spent a long time working with ropes as well, and I am going to show you what I do and what I think is the simplest, right? And I believe in the keep it simple, stupid, KISS, okay? Not overcomplicating things, because when stuff is overcomplicated, guys, it can be hard to do in a stressful situation, right? So I have some really cheap paracord here, guys. I am not a believer in buying really expensive paracord, because I go through 700 meters of this a year at least here at Red Branch. Okay, so you're going to tie off your tarp, right? You're going to put your ridge line, this is my ridge line, round the tree. Let's do it. My favorite way to do this, guys, now I'm not going to set it at the proper level or anything like that. There is plenty of videos of me doing that you can see on my channel. This is called oh Jesus, a timber hitch. It's called a timber hitch, right? So all you're going to do, this little bit of the rope here, okay, this is called your running end, right? So I'm going to take my running end around the tree at the height I want it, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it over like that, right? When you fold something over, that's called a bite, right? So I'm going to bring it over the other piece, and I am just going to fold it over, and I'm going to twist it. If you have ever tied a fisherman's knot, you'll know exactly what I mean. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this, I'm going to twist it around it, right? Like this. Now you can give yourself a wee bit more space. Just wrap it around. That's 4, that's 5, it doesn't matter how many, okay? And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just wiggle this back and forward until this twisted bit is resting against the tree. Now the way this works is that the more pressure you pull this way, the tighter this pushes against the tree, and the more that this will stay in place. Class. Very simple. You want to release it, just make sure that this end is untied. Okay, give yourself a little bit of slack and just pull it through like that. Okay, cool. So this is the other tree where I'm putting my ridge line on, okay? And what I want to do is I want to tension this, right? I want to tension my ridge line as much as possible. Now I have a lot of rope here, so I normally don't have that much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my running end, which is now this end, I'm going to bring it around the tree, and I'm going to pull it as tight as I can. I'm going to pull all this the whole way through, right? Then, and here's the great thing about ropes, guys, any little bit of pressure, so I can take my thumb, no matter how tight this is, and I can just hold it there against the rope, right? And this will not move. So I'm going to put all this over. My running end is going to go right over the top of my ridge line, okay? And then I'm going to pull this back opposite, like this. And that's how you tension it. Now, to tie it off, I'm going to take my thumb again, and I'm going to pinch it, and I'm going to run, this is my running end, I'm just going to bring it up parallel with this. I'm going to put it over, and I'm going to put it through the loop that I made, and then I'm going to pull this tight, okay? Now that is called a half hitch. Okay, I'll show you again. So I'm going to pinch, get rid of this. Oh, of course it's wrapped. Guys, look, paracord will find absolutely, it's like an octopus, right? It literally will, look, there's it wrapped again. It'll wrap around everything. So I have a loop here, right? So all I'm going to do with that loop is I'm going to run it up, put it over, in, and pull it tight, okay? That's it, 1 and 2. That's it, all done. And that will stay in position. Okay, so if I can use this to go through the loop of my tarp and tension my tarp, but that's generally not what I do, okay? So this right here is called a prusik, right? A prusik is 2 stopper knots that slide. This one's very tight. So you've taken 2 stopper knots to make a loop, right? Let me get rid of this. And this is your loop. Okay? So all the stopper knot all they do is that if you pull the 2 knots away from each other, you can make the loops smaller. And these prusiks have been tied for a long time. There we go, look. So you make the loop smaller or you make the loop bigger. Okay, they're very simple to tie if you can untie them first. So this is just paracord, guys. This is paracord that actually comes on the handles of the ferro rods that I get. And I just take it off and make prusiks with it. So this is how it works, right? Got my rope. All I'm going to do is I have a running end here and a running end here, and I'm going to run them parallel past each other, okay? I'm going to take this running end and I'm going to wrap it over once, twice, and then I'm going to take my running end and put it back through the X that I've made, like that, and that's it. Okay, now I'm going to turn it because I find it easier to do that way, and I'm going to do it again. Okay, so I'm just going to run this over twice, like that. Give yourself plenty of room, guys. I'm going to just pull that tight, like that. Okay, and then all you do is you pull this, yoop, and that will tighten. Okay, what is a prusik for? A prusik is a tension knot, right? No, it's a hitch, isn't it? It's a hitch, is it not, right? So basically, how this works is that this is my prusik. I can move it up and down. This rope is wet, right? But when I pull, it goes tight, okay? And it doesn't move. Very, 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 very effective. We would have used prusiks to climb ropes, right? And if you want to see somebody use a prusik to tie a rope, Roger Moore does it in the James Bond film when he's hanging off a big overhanging cliff and he takes his shoelaces off and he makes prusiks out of them. So this is how they work, right? This is my ridge line. I'm going to take the prusik and I'm going to put it underneath it like this. When I've done that, I'm just going to take the knot, I'm going to pass it through 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm just going to pull it so that it comes tight. Now, what you need to do is you need to do what we call dressing the knots. So I just make everything so it's all nice and neat and all my loops are in order like that. There you go. So what I do is I set up the ridge line of my, I set up the ridge line, I put the tarp up, I will clip a prusik to each end, pull it tight, right? So that when the tarp tries to move back, it won't move because the prusik will tighten. Okay, does that make sense? Guys, I've done a video on that already. It's there, okay? Now, here is another variation on it, right? And this is called, I'm going to call this a taut line hitch because I can't really remember. So you do this with a running end, right? Let me show you. So a taut line hitch is like making a prusik out of your running end. Okay, that's the easiest way I can describe it. Now, I hope I've given myself enough room. So basically, I'm setting up this ridge line here, but I want to tension it off just using this, right? So what I'm going to do is, watch this. And this is very useful if you are if you're trying to tension the corner ropes on your tarp, right? So I'm going to bring this over. Just going to pull that tight. Get rid of my prusik. Confused stuff. Okay. So all I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to run this up parallel, and then I'm going to take my running end and I'm just going to wrap it round 4 times as if I was doing a prusik. This could also be called a figure 4 knot, I think. And then what I'm going to do, so that's 4 times underneath. That's 4 times underneath, like that, okay? And then I'm going to take one and I'm going to wrap it around again and I'm going to tuck it through its own loop, like that. dress my knots. Okay, now if you see how loose this is, right, all I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this up. And what happens, guys, is this grips the same way as the prusik does, so you can put tension in whatever you need to put tension in. Guys, it works 100%. And that's it. They are the knots and the hitches that I use to put up a tarp in any position, in any condition, guys. They have never failed me in any way, okay? There's lots of quick release stuff you can do and things like that, guys. I find that this is what I know, and this is what I go back to all the time. I hope you find that helpful, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay frosty.